We're live.
Maybe we were live because it says up the top now that we've been
3
live
minutes.
for 3 minutes.
Has anyone just been listening to us jabber on for 3 minutes? Not that there's anything different to that. From that to normal.
Shit.
Did we put up a link to anyone to say that this was on tonight?
I don't even know. I just don't expect too much and you won't be disappointed.
We might need to send that link out though to no, here we go. We've got a few people coming on. Hello, fellas. Look, here we go.
Fucking
We got Anthony, we got Glenn, Jay.
Keep the expectation low. Keep the expectations low, guys.
Don't expect too much. G'day, David Heron. I love that guy. He's always got something clever to say. I like it.
Yep, same here.
Ben Eustace. No, it's only just dinged. There we go.
Right.
Well, there we go.
We're just having a bit of a thing with our times are all out of sync, and it tells us we've been live for 4 minutes, but we definitely haven't been live for 4 minutes. Hopefully haven't been live for 4 minutes. Giving out the secrets of the world in that last 4 minutes.
Yep.
I'm glad they didn't hear what you said about. No, I better not.
No.
Such a shit story.
Yes. So it's been a few weeks, fellas.
Lockdown without alcohol is a bit of a fucking killer, let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm not drinking much because it's just too tempting to have a knockoff time earlier and earlier. At the moment, I'm transitioning into home life with my wife, who's retiring soon, and she's on leave. So I find that I'm getting into my workshop later and later each day, and I don't want to be finishing too early, or I'll never get anything done. So it's kind of scary.
Kevy's looking at going the retiree, are you?
No, my wife's going the retiree. I've still got to work. Then we're going to need a new mug made. Behind every full-time knife maker is a retired wife with a pension.
With a pension. Nice.
Oh, g'day, Andrew. G'day, Stanley. Good to see you, mate. Yes, we're here tonight having a bit of a shit stir and a chit-chat.
It's officially lockdown where I live now. So they announced it at 12:30, and I was doing something, and wife said, "Hey, it's locked down as of 5 o'clock today." I'm like, "No, please no." And she said, "Yeah, make sure we have enough groceries and all that." I realized usually I do my shipping via DHL, so they send a courier. I'm thinking with the lockdown, they're not going to send anybody. I packed this knife that sold the night before really fast, and I went to post office. There's a fucking line to get in there. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. It is what it is. I waited in the line, then got in the post office, send the stuff, send the knife. Then I'm thinking, like, man, I'm sure we're low on eggs and milk and this. I don't want to be waiting the last second to get in. I decided to go our local IGA. It's like a fucking zombie movie. There's 30 old people in our IGA, all at the bags. But like, oh shit, IGA is no go. Then I went to Coles, which is like another couple of minutes, but there were 40 people waiting at the door. So line of 40 people just to get in there. And you see people coming with the trolleys, like shopping trolleys, like stacked. Enough shit to get people through for like 6 months. Like all the cans, all the pasta, all the rice. It's a 1 week lockdown, plus you're allowed to go for the essential shopping. Food store is going to be open.
Yeah.
And anyway, I waited in line for fucking half an hour and get in. I fill my 2 bags. Oh man, people are acting stupid. Fuck, man. So last week it was your rent. Last time it was your rent with the vaccine and all this. Now it's going to be my rent with the lockdown, man. It's I think there were only like few cases here in the Hunter Valley. Now the entire Hunter is locked up. Singleton, Musselbrook, Newcastle, and Maitland. Yep.
So
locked up.
Mert, you're broadcasting from a new room of the house, eh?
Oh yes. I'm currently at my.
Do you know how we know? Because you look at the lighting on my side, it's subtle and calm.
Yeah.
And the lighting on Kev's side, and it's subtle and calm. And where you are, it's reflecting off your fucking head.
Fucking hell, man.
Jesus. Dull the head shine. That'll be better. He's got his ring
There you
light.
go.
Oh,
Now I'm going to be like Mert. Hey.
yes. So where are you, Mert? Keep going. Sorry.
All right. First of all, Kev, you look like the anglerfish in the Finding Dory, Finding Nemo, with that light on your
Good point.
Oh,
Second, I'm currently in my engraving and photo headquarters, also known as the hub of the garage. So yeah, finally I managed to take the half of the garage in. The issue was more than the engraving. Every time I have to take a picture, I have to clean up the dining room table. I have to go to guest bedroom and take out my photo tent, and then I have to clean the table so the cameras and shit, all the lighting fixture doesn't stick up on the peanut butter and jam, all that shit. Every week I make knives, two knives at least, but then it takes me 1 hour to set the shit up, and like I spent an hour trying to get this light thing set up. I said, "Fuck it, I just need to set up permanently." And while this was set up here, I managed to get my engraving set up done. When I say engraving, like don't get mistaken. I'm not capable of scratching anything meaningful, but I need to start practicing. So now I'll be using this room for engraving practices. My camera.
No one ever got good at anything by thinking about doing it.
well, that's it.
And the best thing for the podcast is I have a good reception internet. There's no delay. And I'll be doing my shipping from here. I managed to bring all the shipping boxes and my knife pouches and stuff like that. So I'm trying to be a bit more organized.
Beautiful.
Very good.
Yeah,
Raymond's
what have you guys
asking
been
about
up to?
Raymond's asking about the Forge controllers. I'll just give you a quick update on that. The electronics is all done for the first 10 or something, and the gas gear is getting put together. We're just trying to get instructions together, and that was going to come to my place, and we were going to do a video, but obviously with lockdown, haven't been able to do that. So we're sketching together something sketchy that people can use. I can't really send them out without instructions because you have to know how to fly it. But yeah, they're coming along, Raymond. We promised August, I think end of August, and we'll have them done by then for sure. So happy days. Yeah, I've been into a new tool. I've been making a new tool.
Yes, we saw a couple of pictures today of that.
Let me show you something. So, do you guys know about these old tools, right? They've all got these beautiful, complicated inlays. So just for the benefit of the people listening, I'm holding up an late 1800s, early 1900s set square with a beautiful, nice figured handle, book match scales actually. And it's got a beautiful, complicated shape. Look at the shape, right? Imagine inlaying that piece of brass. Here we have another one. This is a marking tool for marking tenons, actually. But look at the brass inlay in that. Again, complicated shape. These shapes, and they've got points on the shapes. The significance of that is you can't use a pantograph to mark to do that because you need to use a very fine radius cutter. That marking tool, by the way, that was my they're both my great-grandfathers. You can see it's got, if you look at it, it's got M. Urquhart stamped on it over the top of someone else's name. Go great-granddad. Well done. So, yeah. So the tool that was used...
I think your granddad said, I didn't see your name on it.
What's that? No.
I think he said, I didn't see your name on it.
He stamped his over the top. Pretty funny. But anyway, so the tool that they used is called a parser or a parsi or a parser. And it's a pretty fucking cool tool that basically can drill any shaped hole to inlay. Can literally drill pretty much any shaped hole for an inlay. And so the original ones were breast mounted and you pushed on against them and you used a bow drill to rotate them, and they were sketchy as fuck. So you look it up, parser drill. If you Google parser drill, you'll see some information on it. But I thought, fuck, I've got a cordless. So I made a cordless powered passer drill, which is here. So you can see the tips there that do the work. Up this end here, I've made milled a shank to hold in the cordless nice and snug, and it's spring steel. So these are like super spring steel, and I've hardened and tempered them to be bullshit springy, and they're really good. And then, so there's what it does. Like I just did a mock shield in a piece of Jarrah, which you can't really see so good, but it's actually pretty fucking good. It's pretty good. And it just runs around the template, and I'm just using a piece of Dexian at the moment, but I will make something better next. I just mucked around with it this afternoon after work. So I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, pass the drill, new tool day.
Very good. Well,
Bulk
speaking
buy.
of new tool day, I went out and picked up a power hacksaw today, and it's only got a 30 centimetre blade on it, and it was not too far away from home, about an hour and a half drive out to get it, and an hour and a half back. But it was $50, and all it runs, and all it needs basically is a big clean up on it, get a new grease on it. And then while I was out talking to the guy that I bought it from, showed me some other stuff that he's got. Talk about shed envy, Corin. He's got a shed that's 4 times the size of yours.
4 times the size of mine.
Easy, nice. 4 times the size of yours.
I bet you're full.
Full of cars and shit. You can hardly fit in there. But I was just, as you do when you talk to these guys that are selling stuff, you go, came out this far. What else are you selling? And he goes, I've got this drill down in the workshop that I'm selling. I was like, okay, what sort of drill is that? And it's a wall down drill. I'll take it. So I sort of shook his hand before he even said what he wanted. So I've got to drive back and.
Well, you got to. It's not in the bag until you got it in the shed.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
All I have to do, I've got to find a week, or I've got a week to find out where it is and offer him $20 more.
No. This guy, it's there. We shook on it. He's a good bloke.
Yeah, right. Because no one ever broke a handshake. No one ever broke a handshake.
With the power hacksaw, I was first in, and I said to him, "Yep, if you're home tomorrow, I'll come and get it tomorrow." Because it was, like I said, it's an hour and a half drive. And he was like, "Yep, no worries." And then when I got there, he said, "Oh, he goes, mate, I've had 35 inquiries about that power hacksaw," and I just said to all of them, "Yeah." He said, "I've just said to all of them." Because it's only $50.
Oh yeah, right. Fuck.
You can't go wrong with that. And I was looking at it, and the nice thing about these old mechanical things is real simple to pull apart, grease up, and put back together. Like there's no technical stuff to it.
Mine's been just beautiful. It's easy to work. You can adjust it easily, and it just works. It just runs. It'll run all day. It's run forever. You know, mine's in 1940s, 1930s, or something, and it's been running since then, and it'll run forever.
Yeah, he had a big or decent size metal bandsaw that he was using. He reckons the power hacksaw was too slow, but for me, I can just set and forget, walk away, come back a bit later, and
What's the matter? For you and me, for the average hobbyist, how much is a big bandsaw?
Right? Oh, thousands. Yeah.
And you break the blade on one of those things, or you accidentally put the blade onto some hardened steel, rips all the teeth off. You're up for what? $70, $100, depends on the size. Power hacksaw, blades $10 each, and $50 for the saw, and they can sit in the corner quite happily, and they don't take up that much space. They're not as big as a bandsaw either.
No, and the other bonus was he made a custom stand on wheels that he gave to me as well.
That's pretty.
And it's nice. So I just bloody wheel it around in and out of the places I need it. So that was my new tool purchase. Well, new tools purchases. I'll go back and get the drill a couple of weeks' time and see what else he's decided he wants to sell.
Yeah.
He also had the coolest thing. I forgot to take a photo of the name of it. He had this Japanese-made mill, and it was 3-phase that he's converted to single-phase, and it's a horizontal vertical mill, but it's only like 4 feet tall. All these Bridgeports and stuff, they take up so much room. he was telling me about this mill that he had, and we went down to his workshop, and it was like 4.5 feet, 5 feet tall maximum. It had the smallest bed on it, but this thing was as solid as a rock. It was Japanese made and absolutely beautiful. I'm like, not selling that.
Is
are
it
you?
for sale?
No.
Is it for sale?
I asked him about a whole bunch of stuff. I was like, well, I'm on a roll now. I've got to ask you. The worst thing you can say is no, or the worst thing you can say is yes. Yeah. I said the worst thing you can say is yes, and then ask too much money. But no, so that was good. Nearly busted it up getting it off the trailer.
My little fucking mill is just too light. It's fine for doing drill work, but it's just too light. As soon as you start to do any heavy milling, it's too light. And that's
what do you mean by heavy milling? Like what size you consider heavy milling?
1/2 inch. I was doing it today. I ran a 1/2 inch end mill, milling the sides of a shank, the shank for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a bit too much vibration for drilling. It's for precise drilling. It's awesome. You've used it for that, eh? It's a DRO on it, and that's excellent. But it just would be nice to have something just a little bit bigger. There's never been a better time to get an 84 engineering grinder. That's absolutely true. Ben Eustace, I think they're on sale and probably going to be more on
20%
sale
off or something.
Yeah, we've got 50 on the shelf or something. Way too fucking many. It's tight. If you work it out how much money that is tied up, you'll understand why we're basically giving them away at the moment. So jump on that deal. They're seriously awesome. This guy uses the men's shed mill for $3 an hour, which is great if you can get access to it. I got nothing but good things to say about the men's shed. They do a great job, but I don't. I just want to. Yeah, maybe I'll just upgrade one day. We'll see how we go. I don't have the funds for it at the moment. Yeah. So it is what it is. So what have you been doing, Kev, other than that?
Oh, well, it's been, like I said, I was trying to catch stock of where we've been and where we've been up to with how long we've had. It's been like 2 or 3 weeks. I've run a couple of classes for people. I had a cancellation, obviously with the COVID stuff. I had a cancellation, which I was pretty bummed about. And then Matt McVicker from Vicker's Forge gave me a buzz and said, come around. He'll come around to my place on last Sunday and we'll make some mokume. And I hadn't made mokume before, so he brought his forge and all the bits and pieces around, and we put the press into good use. Yeah, we made some mokume. It was bloody unreal.
Yeah. He showed me his project, what he's making with it.
Yeah, because I don't know if it wasn't a secret, I don't think, but I was going very safe, just layers with a little bit of random pattern because it's the first piece. I wanted it to succeed, and Matt was going for a bit more of a complex pattern in it, and he was going to do a 4-way weld if it worked. And this is with mokume too, which is not that easy. Like, it's easy to work in some regards, but not that easy in others. But he had a little bit of a failure in that experiment, but had enough stock there to keep, and he took it to work and milled up some ball handles for stuff, and it looks fucking unreal.
Yeah, the stupid thing was he never heat colored it before he's Loctite it on. I said to him, "What are you doing?" I was just anyway, whatever.
Yeah,
and when
he said,
I showed him,
I asked him. I asked him. I said, "How do we get the colours up? Do we have to etch it?" And he's like, do this, do that, but nothing came up. And I was thinking about heat, but sort of a fleeting thought. And then he sent me to your Instagram when you were doing it.
I said, "Why don't you heat color them? They look shit the way they are." And then he was like, "Oh, right, that's what you do."
Yeah. Have you guys tried coloring it by just taking the lid off your hydrochloric acid and just leave it above the hydrochloric for a tiny bit? The fumes are enough to etch it.
Really? I'm going to give that a go for sure.
Yeah.
Adam,
make sure you wear your safety gear
at the men's shed. Yeah. Plastic bag over your head. So the other thing I've been working on,
this is Ferric.
Project.
Sorry, this is Ferric. Not
the other thing I've been working on. I made a block and tackle out of machined aluminium. It's quite a neat little project. If anyone's online, have a look at the nifty-lift.com if you want to have a look at block and tackles, if you're interested in such things. Anyone that's been to my shed knows that I'm a little bit obsessed with them. I made my own version of that, which was a little bit of a nice little project. So yeah, little milling machining project.
Nice.
Other than that, I've just been fucking bored, and I've got a knife down there, sitting down there, half made, and I just can't bear myself to look at it. So
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, is what it is.
It is what it is.
Is what it is. Raymond Davies says he has the Sieg mill and lathe. They have a pretty good rep, and they're nice little product. Yeah, mine's 1980 Taiwanese. It's really old. Yeah.
Yeah, like yours, as you're saying, Corin, it's so small. It's actually rigid for the size of it.
Oh, it's good. It's a good mill.
Yeah, it's a baby mill, but it did such a good job, particularly with our the drilling side of things.
Doing this stuff, where I had to drill these holes, right, dead bang in the middle using the DRO and that. It's spot on. It's perfect. Yeah. It's just when you try and do any heavy milling. Remember, we tried to mill a drift for you with it.
Yes.
And you remember how much fucking around that was?
Yeah, we ended up chucking on the lathe.
Yeah. And it's it's just a bit of a pain in the ass. And I found that fly cutting with it works better. So I've been fly cutting everything lately.
Yep.
Which has been a new skill for me. A new skill.
What is okay? I'm gonna sound dumb, but what is fly cutting?
Oh, fly cutter is like a you know what a normal lathe bit that goes into a lathe, right?
Yep.
In a mill, you mount that into a spigot that goes or a shank that goes up into the mill, and it just spins the tool around and just cuts a single point cut, and it just leaves a really nice finish. And it's not high powered because you don't have like 4 cutting faces or anything. There's only one, and it works really quite well with that. Yeah. So I don't know. I'd like to upgrade, but I don't have any room in my shop for a bigger mill.
Oh, really? That was 2 years ago.
Oh, full. Yeah. Maybe the stuff they're making now, hobby mills and that, they're getting better and better. Mine's one of those round shank ones. And it's just not ideal. But anyway, whatever. Trevor.
That's it. And we got Bryn on. How you going, Bryn? Good to see you, mate. I've been thinking about you lately. Someone was saying something. I think it was what's he said? Glenn's was going to do a hammer for him or something. I don't know. Anyway, I read some shit on Facebook. I'm still not on Facebook a lot. It's actually quite nice not being on Facebook very much, except when I go onto Marketplace and find tools to drive out and buy. That's the good thing about it. But
I love not being on Facebook. I love not being on Facebook.
Yeah. I spend quite a bit of time with the admin side of the Facebook forum and all that. Fuck.
Mert, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking Peacock Hill. This is friend of ours wine, and they make one of the best wines, one of the best shares in the valley. And yeah, sadly, I don't know how long they're gonna be doing this because it's just a small operation, husband and wife, and they're in their early to late 60s, and
yeah, right.
Yeah, it's not an easy operation if you're 2 people. So I hope they'll be in the business, but I don't know how long they're gonna be doing this. And once and when they stop doing this, we'll be really upset because let me tell you this: I have a friend who's a wine connoisseur. I bought a bottle of Grange and bottle of these guys' wine to Switzerland, and we opened them both, and the guy rated their wine, Peacock Hill's wine, a lot better than the Grange. And the Grange that I bought was a good bottle. It was expensive and good bottle.
That's fine praise indeed, mate.
It
I
is,
look
it is.
buggered. Someone said there. Ben says I look buggered. Yes, I do. I feel buggered. I've had a fucking shit day. And it's fine. That's just the way life is at the moment. We've got to get through it. But we're here. We're talking about it. It's all good. Mert, they want to know the winery's name.
Peacock Hill.
James Long, Peacock Hill.
Yeah, I'll show you the label.
Yeah, but all you can see is like you can't read it.
It's like looking at the top of your head.
It's your fucking ring
It's all
light.
just shiny.
It's your TikTok light. Is that your TikTok light?
What TikTok? Fuck you.
Hey, look, Corey, give it 2 weeks with lockdown, mate, and you'll have fucking hair like mine.
Yeah. Or we'll have hair like his, more likely.
My wife the other day was like, I took my hat off and she goes, my God, your hair's long. And I went, not if I do this. I just chucked my hat back on. She goes, yeah, keep your hat on.
I had a shave. I went and had a shave a couple of days ago, so I'm feeling kind of fresh.
Nah, I take a long time to grow a beard, so I'm not shaving it anytime soon.
You know how long it's been since we done an episode? Last time we did an episode, I visited you afterwards. Remember? I came to Canberra.
Yes. Wow. That far back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that far back.
And Mert went up to the snowy mountains and had a look at the snow. Got the kids into the white powdery stuff, the legal white powdery stuff.
Yeah, not the Colombian stuff.
Yeah.
My wife really want to go to holiday. I mean, like when I say she want to go really like she want to go to fucking holiday. She's like, oh, look at the price of the New Zealand. They're so cheap. I'm like, yeah, for a reason. Because of the COVID, nobody wants to get locked out and be, someplace in the hotel waiting for 2 weeks. So
been there, done that.
Then she settled for Tassie. Look, Tassie, it'll be a nice trip. We'll see Tassie. The tickets are cheap. Yes, honey. For a fucking reason they're cheap. And she's upset. She's partying right now. Let's go to Queensland, honey. No. Just stay in fucking New South Wales. And then you know what happened? As soon as we're talking about this, we're booking things, and then COVID strikes Sydney and all the lockdowns happen, and I managed to settle her for Canberra, Australia, ACT, because there's no lockdowns for it. So we managed to book some Airbnb and 1 day at the Perisher. The reason we did a 1 day was our kids never seen snow before, and we don't want to be booking a Perisher for 2 days and 3 days, like at $1,000 per night for a hotel, and then kids absolutely hating it. Then we're getting stuck with it. So we stayed in Canberra, and on our way to Perisher, I stopped by at Kev and managed to catch up with Kev, which was good. And then we went to Perisher, and the kids loved the snow, to our surprise. That was good.
Yeah.
But you know what? You're old when you look at the risks. And then he was like, "Oh, are you going to do the skiing?" I'm like,
Nah.
"No." I done ski once. I should be fine. But I'm at the age. If I break something, I'm not. Yeah. If I break my ass, I don't want to be like starting there. I don't want to be starting a Kickstarter or GoFundMe because I broke my ass.
You'd have to do live TikToks from hospital with both your arms in plaster. Seeing how the nurse leads you.
Yeah, that was a Canberra trip. I get to see Kevin. It was good.
Yeah, it was good, mate. Good catch up with you.
Yeah.
Good for you to see the new workshop.
Yeah.
Just to catch up and actually say g'day in person. It's been a fucking long time.
You know what we realized, Kev? Last time I saw you was
the Sydney show. Oh, the symposium. Yeah, that's right. That was the March the year before. Crazy.
No, Sydney. Was it Sydney? Almost 2 years.
Yeah, it's nearly 2 years.
Wow. We were like, oh, you're the person that I talk online.
Yeah.
The first time I meet
like, shit, you're taller in person. You remind me of a guy that I've shared a room with a few times.
Yeah. Ah,
That was good. That was actually, like I said, really good to see it. Like it just breaks up that.
likewise, man.
Yeah, breaks up that thing of the everyday, which But as I said, we've kind of been lucky here. I can't complain too much in regards to Canberra and activities here. But I got to be honest with you, regardless of lockdowns, I don't really travel too far away from the house. Our sort of routine at the moment is take the two dogs out to this new big dog park thing, walk them around, and then I come home and get into the workshop, and Ro goes off and she's doing some sort of family duties at the moment because of poor health in the family. And, then we catch up again in the Arvo, and that's about that. So I'm actually spending less time in the workshop lately, but I think I'm more productive when I'm in there because I realise I've got less time. So I just get in there instead of fart-arsing around with a lot of different things. I'm just trying to focus on the projects that need doing, get them done.
Oh, man, I haven't taken Kaya for a walk. He's nibbling me. He's coming like he's nibbling on me like, oh, shit, I need to take him for a walk. He's about to fucking eat me.
Yeah. The dog training, Brad Stone, the dog training's going pretty good. I had a bit of a laugh the other day when we were out because just took a video of my dog, the Border Collie, and the term that I use, very Aussie, when he runs away to get his attention, I just yell out, "Oi!" So, and the dog stops and turns around, and I say, "Get here." And I've got mates in America, and they love the way to get an Aussie's attention is to say "oi," normally followed by the cunt word. But now with the dog, I filmed him running off, and I've gone "oi," and he stops and turns at me, and I'll go let him run again. I go "oi," and he stops and turns. I'll send it off to one of the guys, going, "That's how you train an Aussie dog, mate." And then he sent me one back he's filming his dog, and he goes "oi." And his dog turns around and comes over to him. So he treats his dog like he treats the Aussies. But no, he's good. He's a good dog, mate. He's only 8 months old. He unfortunately just had his bits cut off 2 weeks ago. So he's crazy. He's an 8-month-old Border Collie. Just energy levels are just through the fucking roof. But he's
such a sweet dog, man. Such a sweet dog.
Yeah, he's already a really loyal dog, and love his company, and he just lives now to go to this park every day. So it's become a part of our life, and we get to see some regulars out there. It's kind of funny, there's this one Malamute thing out there, and so which are the bigger ones? Which is the Malamutes, and what's the other one?
Husky.
No, this is a Husky. It's friggin' monstrous. This thing is huge, and it's black and white. And has
bigger than Kaya?
Has these eerie blue eyes. No, not quite. It's like round like a barrel. But this thing comes running up to you, and it's silent when it runs, and it's huge, and it's got these ice blue eyes, and you just think, first time I saw it, I was like, oh, I'm fucked. I laid down on my back and lifted my balls up for it to sniff. And, now we actually catch up with that owner quite a bit about the same time each day and, do our little wander, and the dogs do their sniffing bits, but yeah, it's funny. Good value. Gets me out of the house too.
Yeah. Tom Rebeck's asking about a Myford lathe he's got, which is 1948. He wants to know if I have any advice for him. Yes, I do. Look up a YouTuber by the name of Jeffrey Croker. Look up Jeffrey Croker. Goes through his videos on his Myford lathe restoration. And he's about to do a whole series again on another series, Myford Super 7 restoration. So stay tuned. I was in his workshop last month, and he's a great guy. So, yeah, Jeffrey Kroger.
Nice.
There you go. What else we got? Kev, they want advice on how to get the dog to not eat shit.
Funny thing, walking the dog today, and I only yell at him and, fuck off, leave it. And there's kangaroo and wombat shit and probably rabbit shit. That stuff I don't mind them eating because it's just effectively grass remains. But today the dog went up and he's like licking this thing, and I'm fuck, get out of it. And I saw just the last bits as he's gone in, and it was a nasty looking thing. And so I'm like, oh, you pig, and he's walking off licking his chops. And then I turn to Ro, my wife, and I go, "Don't let the dog lick your ears on the way home." Because when he's finished the walk, he's in the back of the car. He likes to lean over and give you a little lick. I was like, "Don't let the dog lick you." Why is that? Oh, he's just eating the biggest shit. That's fucking great.
We had a dog once that cleaned the kitty litter tray. Yeah,
Oh.
Darren's saying his eats catchy. Fuck
Yeah,
anyway.
I don't mind. Like, so I don't mind the. It was funny when we took him to the RSPCA for his dog training and stuff when he was younger. That was in this big paddock, and all the dogs got there, and it was like that was the first part of their day was walk around this dog pen eating all the rabbit shit. It was like a treat for them. And it's like, oh, well, that's just grass, really. But yeah, all the other stuff you don't want to know about.
Nah, not at all.
No.
Is he still digging by the shed?
Yeah, he's got two spots in front of my workshop that he just every fucking time I go up there, he just digs these holes. And I've caught him and got out there and give him a rough up and grabbed his neck and all that sort of stuff, thinking that would fix it. And it's like, nah, and it's like the fucking Houdini of it all, because I'll close the workshop door for 2 minutes, come out, and he's fucking dug 2 fucking holes again. I'm filling them up with, I've started filling it up with the steel from the fucking grinder buckets to try and put him off digging, but he just keeps fucking digging.
Oh, he's a dog.
Yeah, he's a dog. That's it. He's a dog.
So knife making. Brad Stone's bringing us back on the subject.
Yes.
Guys, Mert, what are you making? Have you got a sword on the go?
I have a. Okay. I'm in the process of grinding one of the swords that I heat treated. That's the Quench with the T-spine. I thermocycled another sword today, Shamshir, and I have a wood sword that's already heat treated, and I need a little bit straightening and a bit more grinding. Plus, I'll be working on some. Hopefully by tomorrow, I'll be making some more crucible steel. Hopefully.
Ah, very good.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Nice. Well, I've got a
Yeah.
sort of a sword. It's a 315 mil long W2 chef knife, but I've put aside a piece of steel, nice thick piece of W2 steel to make like a short sword. I basically want to make to the capacity of the length of my kiln or forge, and also my quench tank, which is not long at the moment. So I'm going to start with a small job, and then if it works and I like it, I'll work my way up to doing something a bit bigger. I've got plenty of stock on hand because there's no shows, so I don't need to.
Well,
need to
speaking
do
of the
something
capacity of your kiln, I managed to extend my kiln by 20 centimeters.
Yeah.
I took a little. I don't know if you guys remember it. So I took some stainless steel sheet and I folded it and I covered the inside with the care wool, and I opened the door of my kiln and I set it on there and make sure it sits in. I checked the temperature with the thermocouple. It was only lower than the rest. It worked, but obviously I'll be only using for tempering. So I'm not have my drum forge for heat treating that takes blades up to 90 centimeters easily, but for tempering, did Mel finish the dig sword yet? You mean Sexcalibur?
The two-handed sword.
Yeah. No, shake weight.
Shake and bake.
No, I haven't. I was shooting for to finish it for the Sydney show, and so hopefully, I don't know. I'll make something. I'll make something regardless. I'll make something regardless.
Tough times. You guys been hitting the online shopping during lockdown?
What online shop?
Oh, I've been going nuts buying stupid fucking things.
Nah, I've stopped. Like as I said, I got access to the normal shops, and I was buying what I need from you guys, and a couple of other things from. I bought a couple of things from Nordic Edge, and that I'm just trying to limit it because it gets too fucking. Yeah, you just go too crazy.
I bought these little ones that put your screws in, little jars in
Yeah.
a container. I bought 2 of them for
Organized.
fucking $23 or something. They came wrapped in a little bit of one wrap of bubble wrap in a fucking mailing thing. Look at this.
Yeah.
It's all fucking smashed, right? So the lid's all smashed. You can't see it in the fucking video, but the lid's all smashed. And I wrote to them, I said, I wouldn't mind getting like a replacement lid because it's all smashed. They said, how about we just give you a $3 refund? I said, how about I return both of them for a full credit? Fuck off.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, fuck me.
Oh, I had the most fun for the last 2 weeks. My accountant calculated my taxes wrong. She called me. I don't know how to say it, but you owe like $38,000 on taxes. I'm like,
You don't, do you?
no, I don't. No, I don't. She said that, oh, I need you to sign it so we can process. And I'm like, okay, what's the ratio on tax like? What's the ratio on tax like? Is it 1-to-1 or is it? Anyway, I just sat down yesterday and today, did all of my transactions in PayPal one by one, and mind you, I already done this over the QuickBooks. And she's like, oh, according to QuickBooks, this is what you owe. I sat down, I looked it up, I realized. So when I made the sale on PayPal, money comes in. Let's say I made $500 US or Australian. But with the money that came in, let's say I bought timber from US, I would. And whatever I didn't spend, I put it in my bank account. So this dumb motherfucker chick must have done, oh, $500 came in, but she didn't look at the 200 spent. And when I deposit the 300 that's remaining, she must have taken it as a sale. So it looks like, yeah.
Tripling your income.
Yeah. I called her today. I've never been so happy to that. I'm half poor, as you can imagine. And she's like, oh, you have any proof? Like, you have anything? Like, yeah, it's the same fucking PayPal that I give you, same fucking bank details I gave you. Yeah, so that was like a big weight lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah.
Okay, Lee, how do you feel about these nights on Facebook being made with bike chains and nails and shit being called wood steel? Lee, it's not. It's crucible steel. You can make crucible steel out of anything. So let's go to terminology a little bit. What's wood steel? What's crucible steel? Sorry, guys, I took over, but this is a subject that I'm sensitive about.
It's a good question, and it's actually got something to do with knives.
Okay, I saw the video that you're referring to, and they're taking ball bearings and this and that. You can make a wood / plot using the bearing steel. The key is having some alloys, and those alloys are listed as some chromium can do, manganese can do, and vanadium can do. But the video that they done that I seen, that was crucible steel. That wasn't wood steel because it didn't have the bordering pattern. Just because you melt something, that doesn't classify as a wood steel per se. So, and also I try to stay away from those videos on Facebook. You know, I've seen Panda. What is that? Panda something. They're making knives out of everything. The more I look at it, the more angry I get. I've decided to decide not even watch them. Again,
you got one of those awesome. You got one of those awesome husk knives yet, Mert? Apparently, they're the duck's nuts. Husk knives. Look them up. You'll love them.
Oh, for fuck's sake! What is that? Show me. Come on, Bree.
I'm not going to show you. It's fucking horrible. It's too horrible for this program. I just went there because I thought you might have seen it, but you haven't. So it's killed. What the heck? No announcements. What's that mean?
We didn't say that we're doing surprise.
Corey Cunningham. What the heck? No announcements. I don't know, Corey. Fucking bit late, and I'm just not feeling it, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. Matt Snape. Yeah, Corey, sneaky fuckers. Matt Snape knows what he's talking about.
Matt Snip. I'm gonna message you again, Matt Snip. I'm gonna message you again.
You want some more dick?
Matt's upset because his missus is about to ban him from online shopping, tell him to go back to porn again because it's cheaper.
Yeah, no, it's true. I've been doing both, but that's okay.
Mixing in the two of them sometimes.
Yeah, no. Only human. No, I got I don't know, bought some shit. But yeah. I've been
Here you go down to the bottom to Corey. Go down to Corey at the bottom. He's got a question for Mert.
Oh, fuck. There's heaps of messages. I'm missing them. Matt Snape's lucky. It's lockdown question about forging 52100.
There you go. Mert, that's for you.
No, you're forging too hot, most likely. But you could be too cold.
Yeah. So when you say temperatures, what are we talking about? What temperatures? Like, do you know what temperatures you're forging them at?
Yeah, it matters. 52100 will crumble and crack if you get it too hot, for sure.
Yeah,
it's what it does.
You won't see many pattern weld steels out of 52100 because of the alloy in it. If you overheat 1095, you'll be fine. If you overheat 1080, you'll just lose a bit of carbon. But when you do the same treatment to 52100, all of a sudden it goes to wet sand. Like sometimes it can go to wet sand. The extra carbon might be also the reason that it does it, but yeah, it doesn't like being overheated.
Oh. Yep, been there, done that. Forging it cold, it will air harden a little bit, but you'd have to be pretty fucking cold.
Really cold, yeah.
Really cold.
Another issue is, like, let's say you have a ball bearing, you have like a very thick ball bearing that by all accounts it should be 52100, and if you don't let the core heat up all the way, if you're forging it, then it might crack. But if you have like a bar stock.
Keep talking. Yeah, that's right.
Keep talking.
Sorry guys. If you have a bar stock, I haven't had any cracking issues with the 52100. I mean, I managed to do cold shots. I managed to do a lot of stupid shit, but I haven't had the only time I managed to crack and crumble was when I overheated them. Colbert was saying, Woods guys seem to focus on being able to get the very particular pattern that exists on historical blades, which makes excluding manganese important. Not necessarily, Cole. Some regions, manganese is actually what lack of manganese and presence of manganese also dictates the pattern and the clear the pattern. So if don't want to go into too much details, but it affects the lightness and darkness of the pattern. When you look at the woods from Kara Horasan, from the Iran, that is really dark because it doesn't have any manganese. The lighter ones tend to have manganese in it. So the article that the late Al Pandre did about, and Verhoeven did about the vanadium, which was not false, which was correct, but later on it's been discovered it wasn't just them. It wasn't just those two. It wasn't just that alloy. There were other factors in it as well.
Cool.
Oh, starting a new job. That explains.
Making Crucible. Tom Rebeck says, making Crucible steel, they put what looks like glass and charcoal on top of the steel contents. Is that correct, Mert?
Yes and no. You don't want to put you put glass because glass melts and keeps the environment oxygen free, but you don't want to put the charcoal on top. You want to put the charcoal in the very bottom, just in case there's an oxygen on top. The charcoal is going to burn, while if it's in the bottom, it tends to preserve a lot better. I've done both. Like I had success with the closed I had a semi-success with the open, which I'll hit corn up for another burner to remind him.
Yeah, I got one there for you when you need it.
Yeah.
There's fuck all we can do at the moment. Could you need it
No,
right
that's
away?
it.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Corey continued with, so will my thermocouple hold up to the forging temps for 52-100? You need one of those. You need one of those braided lines. It's one of the Gamico ones.
To be honest, you want to get it. You want to make sure you're just within the promoted forging temperatures of 52-100, and just don't go into the yellow white spectrum because it's going to fucking die for sure. And you. What's that?
If you don't forge it cherry red, like stay at orange. The second it starts to lose color, go back.
Yeah.
Go back. That's it.
Warm up your anvil.
How about all this talk about canola? So Raymond Davies says, how about this talk that canola oil not being good to use and the arguments, and he's read it a few times. Honestly, mate, if it depends on the steel that you're quenching. Canola is no good for some things, but it's perfectly fine for others. 5160 5160 and 52-100 both quench fine in canola. If you think of it as a medium speed oil, it's not obviously a formulated quench oil, but it does work. And maybe you will get 1 or 2 extra points of hardness. You definitely will actually get 2 to 3 or 4 extra points of hardness going to K quench. But define good. What are you making?
There was an article that it was published by Larry Thomas recently. Larry Thomas, the author of the Knife Steel book. The issue with the canola oil is it starts okay and then the cooling rate drops immediately, while the other quenching oils are designed for keeping more relatively like a more straightforward line. But he just published an article lately. If you guys want to Google that, I'm not saying like I use rice bran oil, I use canola oil with the 52-100, 5160. It does work, but yeah, obviously you're not getting the most out of the steel.
Yeah, but how are you getting? Are you getting 98%? Are you getting 95%?
Like, you're getting 90%.
You know, like
yeah.
We just get so fucking worked up and carried away, and I don't think for the general purpose beginner and that you're going to get a really good result from some steels with canola.
You're 100% right. Like sometimes it becomes a dick swinging contest. If you're doing a sword, if you're only aiming for 50, if you're doing a chopper, it's perfectly fine. It's like guys bragging about the cars. You know, like my car has 200 horsepower, mine has 205. I got 5 big horsepower. I got a bigger dick than you, so it becomes a dick swinging contest. You're right. When you talk about absolutes, when you're talking about technical aspect, yeah, you might not get the whole thing. But as you said, if you both tempering it back to 64, 63, 62, what's the point? And especially for larger knives, chopper knives, and swords.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No, there's nothing about it.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't particularly worry about that one. Hold up to
and
the
you
fortune
sell oils.
What's that?
And like to be clear, you sell oils. You're saying like you don't have to have it for certain things, but yeah, you sell oils. You could have said no, you have to have oil, your special oil, otherwise your blade is shit.
No, but if you want to get the most out of it, go to a proper quenching. And if you want to get the most out of some of those steels, like for example, 1084 and 1075, the difference in the quench, in K quench and canola, is significant. It's significant. It's when you've got your high manganese steels and high chromium steels that can deeper hardening steels. It's not as significant. So, and like you said, they're mostly used for the big knives anyway. But yeah.
When you go to W2, like when you go to shallow hardening steels, that you want the absolute hardness and you don't want to mess up with the water, then K-quench then becomes a thing. Like I would say, when I did the spicy white that you guys sell, 26C3, I did my usual heat treatment, and I did a 180 Celsius 2 hours temper. I checked my hardness. It was 65.5. It was 66 at that.
Yeah.
And I haven't checked. I don't check it right after quench, but my post quench must have been 66 or 67. So I should have gotten the whole hardness too.
Mm-hmm.
So and with the 26C3, the lowest I got them was 64. Like if I'm getting 64 after 2 hours of temper at 180, you got plenty of hardness. And
so the question was, is canola no good? And the answer is canola's good. Proper quench oils are better.
Yeah.
Right. So the answer is it's not no good. That's my take.
Yeah.
I used it for years with a hardness tester, and I was getting good results. Not as good as I get with K Quench, but still good, and more than enough for what I needed for anything I ever made.
Yeah, I've used it. I've used it all along with 1075 in my classes, and get plenty hard enough knives and stuff. One of the other factors you've got to take into account is, or which I take into account is, if I'm making, or my students are making a chef knife that's 8-inch or above, I've got to temper that in my house oven. Do I want to temper canola oil, or do I want to temper K Quench? And simple question for that is for longevity of me. So my wife doesn't kick my ass, I'll use the canola for the quench. And it's accessible, easily accessible for people. I used olive oil when I first started. I went down and bought a 4-litre tin, and I got a can opener, opened up 3/4 of the tin and folded the lid up, quenched 2 or 3 knives in that, folded the lid down, and it was there for the next time. And, one of the other things, main other things is like, not necessarily just canola oil, but how big is your quench tank to the volume of steel that you're treating, or the number of knives that you're treating as well, because there's only a small window of opportunity where steels are really, really efficient and oils are really efficient and effective. And that's why we preheat them. And then you quench a few knives in a small volume of oil, third knife in is not going to have anywhere near the proper cooling.
It's kept the rate is 1.5 knives. If you got a 3-liter aluminum or steel tin, the effective rate is like 1.5 knives.
Yeah.
So if the first quench is good, it's good. If you're on the second, you see the oil is starting to bubble up, because that shit is meant for cooking. It's not meant for cooling down.
That's it. It's true.
So
makes me want to eat potato chips.
Yeah.
Liquid nitrogen versus dry ice. Well, liquid nitrogen's much colder than dry ice, so it depends on the steel and its qualities and what it needs. So
there's been a few published things with standard household freezers. So we're talking minus 18 to 20. Dry ice with acetone and liquid nitrogen, deep freeze. And, you get benefits from a freezer over not doing it at all. You get more benefits over dry ice, more with dry ice and acetone, and your ultimate is going to be liquid nitrogen. But again, you've got to do it for the right amount of time. So, there's things to learn when you're working with those steels that are going to make everything better for you. So you're going to get benefits out of all of them. One of the things you got to look at is how hard is it for you to get liquid nitrogen, as opposed to buying a bag of dry ice. So I know for me, it's shit tins easier if I go down and buy dry ice. Less mess, less hassle, less expense. But I've got 2 Dewars in the garage. I just don't want to spend a couple of $100 filling them up for 2 sessions of stainlesses, which is about all I use a year.
He's heat treating out of a charcoal forge, so he doesn't think the oil would be the biggest variable. I'd have to agree with you. True story. Darren Melford. For a beginner, I'm thinking canola oil is fine for 1075 and 1084. Darren, yeah, it's fine. Move on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's going to get you, it's just fine. If you want to get into the high performance stuff, super fine edges and all that sort of stuff, and all the high end stuff, you might want to you definitely will want to upgrade by then. But anyway.
Yes.
So Stan Stanley says, well, lockdown's continuing all over the place and the show's events restricted. How about another raffle? There's one coming, Stanley. Stan, I know that Andrew's working on it. We just caught a bit off guard because we were all guns blazing to run Sydney and then Adelaide.
We were all excited. I'm so
and then, of course,
excited.
it's all been stuffed.
It just looks too good to be true.
Been using Quench for 26C3 for a couple of years now. So is it worth looking at Aqua Quench one day? Aqua Quench is a different kettle of fish again. It's a polymer blended quenchant. You got to squeeze your butt cheeks the right way when you use it. I think that's a fair comment, Kev.
Yes, you'll need to spend a fair bit of time just working out the right rate of Aqua Quench to water temperatures and stuff for the steel you're using, because I was doing it for W2, and I think it was like 12% or something that I came up with was a really good sort of mix for me in that steel. But I still had a couple of fucking big failures in that. About 90% was good, 10% failures. If you can live with smaller knives, go for it. But again, it depends on what you like. If you're getting good hardness, good edge retention, good sharpness, and everything else like that with Quench, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Then maybe I'm a little more safe. Maybe I think Safety Sam over other people, but.
Look, I never use Aqua Quench, but one thing I can say is, even 26C3, I'm not sure you need to go to Aqua Quench because of the added chromium. 26C3, it's easier to harden compared to W2. If I was doing W2, I want to get a more crisp, more vivid hormones. I will definitely try Aqua Quench, but 26C3, in my experience, hardens the fuck up pretty good in Quench, to my experience.
Yeah, right.
Fair enough. Cole's got some stats there. He says that room temperature 80%, martensite, freezer 85%, martensite dry ice 90%, and martensite liquid nitrogen. Sorry, 90% martensite, liquid nitrogen 92% martensite. So, and that's talking about the martensite conversion post quench. So, if those figures are right, there's no source mention there, but I'm sure Cole's read it somewhere because he's got a brain for that shit.
Yep.
Darren Milford.
In that regard, there's not a lot of difference between the dry ice and the liquid nitrogen. 2%.
No, fuck all, really. But if you're chasing those percentages, when you're up there at that level with super steels and you're chasing the highest percent, chase it.
Yeah.
In for a penny, in for a pound. Darren Melford said, Cole Barrett, you're unknowingly... I'll stop. What shits me is when people buy super steels and don't do any fucking thing about it. You know what I mean? Like they heat treat it in a charcoal forge, or they do something like that, or they heat treat it in a gas forge with no temperature control, no soak. Why bother spending the money on a steel if you're not going to give it the respect it deserves? Period.
Because it's super steel, bro.
I don't fucking mind either, by the way. I will sell you that
because you're going to sell more.
Right? You fucking do whatever you like with it. But just because it's super steel doesn't mean that your knife is a super knife. So, Cole Barrett, you have unknowingly set me on a journey to make my first finished knife with a Merbau Quilla handle material. I'm on the hunt for figured material. Any thoughts on cheap timbers and maybe some diamonds in the rough? Oh, go for it, boys.
If they cannot find the cheap timbers, why don't they use Honduras Rosewood Burl? Let them eat cake.
I can't understand you, Mert. You're dropping out. You've lost your internet.
The one time you cracked up.
What happened?
I was saying, like, I was being sarcastic. I was saying, if they cannot find cheap handle material, let them eat cake. Let them use Honduras Rosewood Burl. So I don't know much. I don't know much about the local timbers. I'm sure there's plenty of good local timbers, but yeah, I don't have much information. I'm gonna leave
Just
it to Kevin Eucorn.
Just get in touch with a guy by the name of Peter Cheel from the Timber Joint and get yourself some ring gidgee and fucking be done with it.
Yeah.
True.
Or
True.
Reclaim Creative is Dean Cassai. Dean sells.
Oh, Dean's a good guy. Yep.
Yeah, Dean sells some good ones. Creative Soul Timber is another vendor.
Yes.
That
Yes.
sells some very, very nice products because he sells to luthiers and whatnot. So not necessarily not cheaper, but let's say good value.
Yeah,
Like
don't buy. Yeah.
If you want gidgee, Peter Cheel, go follow the Timber Joint on Instagram and set your little your notifications thing up to beep when he posts on there, because Peter's been logging out some bloody bargains on that. I've had to actually untag him to stop the notifications because after a $600, hitting Peter up going, oh, can you just tally up what I bought, Pete, and I'll give you some cash? And it's like, yeah, you owe me $600, not including post. It's like, oh, fuck. Oops.
It adds up pretty quick.
Another guy I need to mention is Curly Pete.
Oh, Curly, yeah,
Pete
sorry.
from
Curly Timber.
Yeah, Curly. Yeah, he does also a lot of stuff for instrument builders, like guitar builders.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're looking for stuff, just hit him up. And very generous guy, very good guy. Yeah, hit him up as well. Along with Peter, he does great stuff.
We've got another one as well because there's plenty of timber sellers now at the moment as well. There's Aussie Burls International and Otway Fiddleback as well. They all do.
Otway Fiddleback, yes, right.
Yeah.
I got some from him. A good guy.
Yeah, they're all good guys. They all sell good products. And if you want, you'd have to say premium stabilized stuff. You've got to look at Sinclair's stabilized timbers. But if you want cheap, the other side of it is if you want cheap hardwood that looks, you can go and get good stuff. Just go down to your local Bunnings or your timber supply place and just pick through their hardwood stuff, and sometimes you'll find one or two pieces that have decent figure in it. Yeah,
man. Some of my timber that came in the timber I bought for burning hardwood, fucking, it was awesome. I said
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, some of the stuff that you can find in your firewood will put a lot of the timber sold in US to shame. We got a lot of the good materials in the firewood.
Yeah.
So Darren says he's got plenty of nice material from a lot of great suppliers, but he wants to cut his teeth on some other stuff rather than destroying some nice pieces. Darren, it literally grows on trees. Just use it. Enjoy it. Make a nice knife. There's more growing on a tree somewhere. Move on. That's my take on it. I've spent a long time hoarding.
Oh, yeah. Like I've got the hoard in my workshop too. Darren, are you doing hidden tangs or are you doing full tangs?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Answer that.
Yeah. But I got it. I only keep exhibition grade stuff. I only keep exhibition grade stuff now. I don't worry about it. When I make a knife, it's got to be the best possible piece of timber I can find. It has to tick all the boxes for me.
Yeah.
And that's it. And practice on a bit of pine. So this is a great comment, James Lane. Practice on a bit of pine. I used to make my first handles out of pine, get the shape right, and then make the one out of the good material and throw the pine one away. Right? And that's a great comment. And you don't have to refine it. You don't have to hand sand it. You don't have to finish it. Just shape it. Get the shape right. Get the look right, and go from there.
Yeah, Bunningsburg pine.
Yep.
You can buy non-building grade pine 70 by 30 for about $400 a linear meter at the moment through their timber shortage.
So those
It's funny.
6 flute.
It's funny. The cheapest stuff for building is almost costing as much as it costs to buy premium grade timbers for handles at the moment.
So have you guys used those carbide mills that we do? The carbide mills for timber?
No. Oh, yeah, the
Big fucking
like
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, big fly cutter ones, right? So we do them
Yep.
on Anderson Supplies. So David's got one. He says you don't have to sand it. I actually started stocking them because I needed to buy another one because I gave mine to fucking Kyle Royer, and Kyle's all over internet now machining his wood. He's loving it. It's pretty funny. Yeah, they're an epic tool, those. And I can't claim that. Sean McIntyre said to me 2012 when we were in his shop, he said, you need one of these. And I went out and me and Keith actually went home and bought them and been using them ever since. So, yeah. And when Kyle seen it, he was like, fuck, need one of those. So, yeah.
They're like 50 diameter or something. So you can normally get most blocks you can machine in one pass, just boom.
And it comes off like it's polished timber.
Oh,
like,
yeah, beautiful.
It's mint, beautiful. No sanding required. Beautiful. Anyway, there you go. Anything else in the comment section?
Oh,
yeah, Cole, put it on the coals.
I'm gonna have to drop off soon.
Yeah, fair enough. No, me too. Look, I'm going to get back on the terp soon because if this lockdown keeps going, that's going to be my life. So, but we'll see how we go. Feel for Henning and the guys in South Africa. Big shout out to the other fellas down under. Doesn't look too good over there. Henning tells me it's all right, but then he has a cannon in his back pocket, so it's probably just fine. But a big shout out to the South African friends over there, and I hope you're all doing well. The red gum. Someone's talking about red gum. The problem with red gum, with fiddled red gum that I found anyway, and you guys can correct me if you found different, but it moves like a bitch.
Yeah, even stabilized, like really well stabilized. I've had that fucking show up gaps and stuff.
The only time I've ever used it successfully was on the bolsters on a stacked leather handle on my first knife. Every other time I tried to use it, I just couldn't get it to stay flat.
Yep.
But anyway,
guys, the Australian burrs look great, but even stabilized, there's a chance of them moving a lot. I will never use Australian burrs unstabilized. I'll use Ringigi without stabilized, fine, but the burrs, even the hardwood, they move like a mother.
Go out now, everybody. Go out and have a look for the Peter Del Rasso burl handled knife. Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah,
he doesn't use it for the sake.
Here's your challenge. Here's a
challenge.
Find a Del Rasso burl knife, and you'll win a prize.
It's rare as rocking horse shit for him to do that for the same reason. They look great, but you've got to have the right handle.
Yeah, you run the risk every now and then, but. Yeah. You know, like I said, when you progress, as Cole was saying, he's got a box of bits and pieces of good hardwood. We're all the same. We collect this stuff and we think it's absolutely brilliant, and then we go back to our boxes and we're looking at it going, yeah, look,
I'm never going to use it.
When did I collect this stuff? Why have I still got it?
It's easy done.
Anyway, we'll buy.
All right, lads. Hey, everybody out there in lockdown. Keep your chins up. If you need a chat, get in touch, and we're here for you.
We'll try and get our shit together and get on a bit more regularly as well. We've just all had our own little bits and pieces going on over the last few weeks, which has interrupted us. But we want to be. I told my wife, I said, "Oh, the podcast is on tonight." She's like, "Oh, good." And I went, "Yeah, I'm actually really excited about it tonight." It's been ages.
Yeah, no, we've got to have another podcast and get on the piss. I think that's if we'll do that when we've got a lockdown coming to an end. We'll have a piss up party. If you get a chance to anybody out there, have a look at Parser drills. They're pretty cool tool. Pretty cool tool. So
Parser drills.
Yeah, or Parsi, sometimes called Parsi or Parser. Stan Shaw, if you look at the old videos of Stan Shaw making knives, you'll find he uses it to do all his shield work as well. I mean, it was a Sheffield tool forever, so there's not much information out there, but pretty cool tool. And thank you for Jim Steele to put me onto it recently.
Yeah,
good guy. Have a good one.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining in tonight. It's good to be back on the podcast again, and everyone just sort of get in, keep busy, make some knives, and keep posting shit up on the knife making down under group, and we'll see you next time. Oh, poor Mert's going to fall over backwards and have a snooze.
All right, that's enough wrap up. Have a good one. Bye. See ya.
Hey, bye.
How do I stop this again? Fuck, it's been so long.